Hey y'all, how are you doing? I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. It's me, Kim, back for another video. Today we're going to be talking about Beyonce's Homecoming. It's her new documentary / concert film that just premiered on Netflix. And I wanted to talk about it because I thought Coachella was the best thing that anybody did last year. Like any creative, hands down, album, song, movie, television show, Instagram post, painting. I thought it was that extraordinary and that exceptional feat. And that is why when Netflix first kind of teased this, and then when they released the trailer, I was beside myself. I was so excited. I even considered staying up till like 3 o'clock in the morning to watch it. But no, I'm not that committed. I'm not in the Beehive. Shout out to the Beehive. I respect your dedication, but I'm not a member. What I stand is talent. What I stand is excellence. And I appreciate deeply Beyonce's commitment to giving us excellence, right? And like, it's not just for us. It's really clear when you listen to Beyonce talk that like, she just really wants to be great. She just really wants to do great and do more and innovate. And like, how can you not appreciate that? If you love pop culture the way that I love pop culture, love performance and entertainment the way that I love it, I don't know how you cannot appreciate that. Cause Beyonce is doing this, okay? Everybody else is here, okay? Some of us are here, but Beyonce is here and she's trying to get us to there. Okay, but we'll get into that later. I just thought that this was so exceptional. And, because Beyonce doesn't speak, she doesn't talk to the public, she doesn't give interviews. And when she does give interviews, they're little fluff ball, just softball question interviews. We don't get a chance to get inside of her mind and dig deep into her creative process. I think it is much easier to be taken seriously if you're a good talker. Like I've learned in my life, it really helps to be a good talker because you can really convince people that you know something and that you're smart. And I think that people assume that if you don't talk, if you don't speak, then something is wrong. You're trying to hide something. You're a charlatan. You're a fraud. And I appreciate, and I'm sure Beyonce probably recognizes that too. And so a part of this is to inspire us and to let us in. And then a part of it, in my mind, I don't know, who knows? But for me, a part of Beyonce choosing to write, direct, and produce a film like this is her saying, I did this my shit. So I really loved and appreciated that. So let's get into Homecoming, what it was, how it made us feel. Let's go there. So Homecoming is like 2/3 a concert film. And then 1/3 of it is behind the scenes footage, home movies of Beyonce taking us through the journey of this 2-hour festival performance from ideation to performance day. And so it begins with what we've all seen before, which is the first 15 minutes of Coachella. And I thought Coachella was so good. I probably watched the full thing maybe 6 times. I've had the live version of this performance for a year. And I listened to a couple of those songs like they're new. Like the Deja Vu Green Light performance. I just listened to that like 2 days ago because the instrumentation is so good. So it starts with Beyonce, what is now, I think, kind of an iconic image of Beyonce with her back to the camera, wearing that beautiful custom Balmain cape and the little head crown, the little headdress thing. Incredible detail and beading and embellishment on that. And honestly, I remember first watching this last year and being like, oh my God. Just from the very beginning, it was so thrilling. And it was even thrilling watching it again. That's how great it is. But okay, so the first little section is Crazy in Love, Freedom, Lift Every Voice and Sing, aka the Black National Anthem, and Formation. Wonderful. I remember first of all thinking, they are dancing hard. Those girls, the women and the men are dancing so hard. I mean, I don't know. I focused in on the women during this first part. They're dancing so hard in those heels, on those risers. Oh my gosh. And then Beyonce is dancing so hard. First of all, Beyonce is an athlete, right? Not only is she an exceptional creative mind, but the woman is athletic. She's 36, 37. The rest of those dancers are probably, the median age is probably 22 or 23. So you're a full decade and a half older than these girls. And she is, her knees, how are Beyonce's knees okay? Like, she has to have a personal trainer, because I was like, my knees I wouldn't be able to keep up. The first time I got emotional watching this was during the Back That Ass Up breakdown in Crazy in Love. Which, that whole Crazy in Love performance, a fucking 12, okay? Crazy in Love itself is an exceptional song. Shout out to Rich Harrison, who produced it. And Rich Harrison also produced another bop, A. Marie's One Thing, but still a wonderful song. But the mashup of Crazy in Love with Back That Ass Up, okay, iconic. But I got emotional because seeing that many bodies precisely synchronized together, dancing, like full out dancing, excellence makes me emotional. You know, like, true artistry makes me emotional. And even if I know a lot of people might, look down because it was a lot of twerking and it's just like, but everybody can't do that. Everybody ain't able. So that's the first time I got emotional while watching this, because it's just so good. After that first section of the concert, we move into the documentary portion. It starts with the words of Nina Simone, where Nina Simone is talking about how important it is for her to center Blackness and to celebrate Blackness in her work and to present that to her Black audience to make them feel pride. And obviously that's a reflection of where Beyonce is in her career. That's why she created this whole homecoming themed festival performance. And she even says, I could have just come and did the flower crown thing and did the peace and love thing and, appropriated Native American headdresses like everybody else at Coachella. But instead she decided to bring this celebration of a very specific kind of Black American experience, which is the HBCU experience. And listen, I didn't go to an HBCU, but I appreciate Black institutions. My father graduated from an HBCU. Shout out to Tuskegee. And I appreciate the fact that she didn't have to do this. She even said last year, or Miss Tina said, when Beyonce came to me with the idea, I was like, they're not going to get it. And Beyonce said, it don't matter. And you have to, how can you not appreciate the vision? Appreciate the vision. So we get those first behind the scenes glimpses of Beyonce telling us what she wants to do via the words of Black artists, Black thinkers, but also telling us herself, right? Around here, Black is beautiful. We celebrate Blackness. And so she brought that to the Coachella stage. What you have to appreciate about Beyonce, and what I so appreciate about her, is she is an absolute genius creatively, but she's not a megalomaniac. Beyonce is often compared to a Kanye West, but Beyonce is not an asshole. You know what I'm saying? Kanye doesn't seem like a pleasant person to be around. He doesn't seem like a pleasant person to work for. In the stuff that we see of Beyonce, the footage, the candid footage that we see of her, the way that she talks about the people that she collaborates with, she seems to be so genuine in her appreciation and admiration for the talent of the people around her. When she was talking about being awed by these musicians and these dancers and her creative team, that seems so genuine. And when she was like, it's not right. It don't make no sense. How can you be so talented? How can you be so fly? How can you have so much sauce, so much swag? Who hasn't thought that? It don't make no sense how much talent Black folks have, how much creativity and swag. It's not right. How? And Beyonce just seems to be so genuine. And I appreciate that because it gives us a different model, a different mold, a different way to think about what genius is, how genius operates, how genius behaves. Because for so long, the idea of a genius is cantankerous, assholish, mercurial, treats everybody like shit. And it's so good now that we can move away from that masculinized ideal. And now we have, you know, this beautiful, generous, kind Black woman who says, no, let's come together and create something that everybody's going to remember. It's not just about me. I love that so much. Okay, moving on. Next part. Bow Down. Now, that's not my favorite Beyoncé song, but I love the way she performed it. Beyoncé clearly loves to talk shit. You know, she was real repressed for a large part of the beginning of her career. And when she let loose, she let loose. And it was so fun to just see her just have fun talking shit in those dancers, the male dancers. Whoa, shorty swing my way. Okay. They're so talented and flexible. What I appreciated about the behind the scenes is we know Beyoncé works hard. I think we always talk about how hard Beyoncé works, you know, 15-hour work days, do it again, rehearse. But Beyoncé is not just a workhorse. She's also a thinker. And what I appreciate is that we now, with these little glimpses that she's showing us, we get to see the thinking side, the project manager side of Beyoncé, because you don't get something of this scale and executed to this level without a vision. And you cannot be a student of pop culture without being a student of Beyoncé, because Beyoncé studies. I believe her when she says she studied her history. I believe her when she says she knows her references. She's bringing in all of these different sorts of citations, and she's synthesizing that into this piece of work. And that is not easy. It's not easy. Even when it comes to the kinds of thinkers that she chose to cite, you know, the Alice Walkers, the Audre Lordes, Marian Wright Edelman, W.E.B. Du Bois, who's one of my favorites. So many of those quotes were about community. They were about liberation. They were about pride. They were about perseverance. I mean, and I don't think that she's just proselytizing, you know. I don't think that this is just a lecture. I think Beyoncé really internalizes these messages about not giving up and pushing through it, and representation matters and community. And we see that even in the parts of this film that are about her struggle to get to the Coachella stage, you know? I really appreciated that Beyoncé talked about the difficulty that she had during her pregnancy and birth experience. As we know at this point, it don't matter how rich you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, pregnancy can take you out. And so Beyoncé talking about how disconnected from her body that she felt, how out of her body that she felt, how much work she had to put in. And also, you know, even visually, Beyoncé being willing to show herself, I don't know, weeks after giving birth, a month after giving birth, and, you know, a bigger Beyoncé than we're used to seeing. Beyoncé, she's just like you, with like $900 million more, but still, you know, she's human. You know, that $900 million would really come in handy. But, you know, everybody goes through the same experiences. And it is reassuring, if you have any kind of ambition, to see the biggest star in the world and an exceptional creative mind go through those struggles. What I love so much about Beachella is all of these like Southern rap songs that are sprinkled in, you know, the Project Pat song, you know, No More Playing GA, and Hey in the Middle of the Barn, which I used to love when I was a kid. Why did I love that song? Maybe it's just real catchy. Back That Ass Up, Bout It. Just all of these songs that really just remind me of like growing up in Texas, and they're just kind of sprinkled in, so you always hear them. I'm trying to go through my notes in the order that I took them in, but it's really hard because I have so many thoughts about this. Okay, so I don't love Drunken Love, the song. It's just never been my thing. But what I love that performance, and she was really high up on that crane. The two best things about that Drunken Love performance, one was the Lilac Wine by Nina Simone, Pas de Deux, with those two dancers. They were so great. And also swag surfing. Now look, I feel very blessed and fortunate to have been in college when swag surfing really popped off. So if you were in college when swag surfing really popped off and you hung out with Black people and you swag surfed, we swag surf everywhere, girl. I appreciate the kids for bringing it back. One thing that we got from Homecoming is what a great project manager Beyoncé is. So much stuff had to come together to create this exceptional performance. So I guess it took 8 months from, you know, the first ideas to the Coachella stage. And we saw every single second of those 8 months in the final product. The instrumentation of Beachella is so layered that it makes perfect sense that she would release this as a live album because it's so great. So apparently they spent 4 months just getting that together. Good job. It showed. And then 4 more months of getting the choreography part together. Great job. It paid off. And so then you have those two parts, the music part and the performance, the choreography part. But then we have to just do what's the set gonna look like? What are we gonna wear on our bodies? Where are the cameras gonna be? How are we gonna shoot this? Because Beachella was shot in a really different way, an unconventional way. I think unconventional is the word that it's just, obviously Beyonce has lots and lots and lots of help. But what we see and what we've seen for the past, 10, 15 years is she's not letting anything fall through the cracks. And so to have it all come together in this way and know that her hand is in, of course she can't oversee every single thing, but her hand is in all those pots. And that's hard. Oh, another thing that I loved about the behind the scenes stuff is Beyonce just has a gorgeous speaking voice. Ooh, that low, raspy voice with the Southern accent. Yes, just read to me. Beyonce should do ASMR. Just read to me, Beyonce, because I am for it. But I also loved hearing her talk about the difficulties of balancing motherhood and trying to get this thing together. And a part of you is like, well, you know, you didn't have to do with this, right? Beyonce could, she's already done enough. She could just be at home, with her little infant babies. But I almost feel like it's a compulsion. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce is a true blue workaholic because I feel like most people will be like, girl, I have 3 kids. I'm rich. But Beyonce is like, no, I'm going to do this exceptionally difficult thing. And, I just had a C-section and delivered twins, but I'm going to push everybody to the brink. And we're just going to do this thing that's never been done before. I really do love the performances, but there are a few Beyonce songs that I just think are bad songs. I don't know why she insists on performing Top Off. That song is The Top Off was such a bad song. It had Jay-Z on it. It had Khaled on it. It had Beyonce on it. And it still flopped. That's how bad the song was. I don't love Formation. I don't love Single Ladies. I just think that there are a few Beyonce songs that are mediocre songs that are made good because she performs them so well. And, a lot of those lead singles in Beyonce's oeuvre in her catalog are just but you endure them because the performances are so good and the videos are so good. The Single Ladies video is iconic. The Formation video is dang near iconic. So you just have to grin and bear it. But the wonderful, wonderful performances for me in this are the section when she has the black latex outfit on. First of all, that black latex outfit, so cute with the epaulettes. Is that what they're called? Epaulettes on the shoulders and the garters. Ooh, patent leather. Ooh, I love that. But that whole sequence that starts with "Don't Hurt Yourself" and then she gives us that operatic moment, and okay, come on, training. And then it goes into I Care. And that performance of I Care is so exceptional. I listened to a vocal coach break down the performance, and that made me appreciate it even more. Beyonce is a vocalist, capital V. That whole section, the songs are great and the performances are so, so good. I really just like to see the different sides of Beyonce. So there's the rehearsing Beyoncé, you know, when she was trying to get back in shape and trying to get her body back and trying to get her endurance and strength back. And she talked about how rehearsal humbles you, right? The greatest performer in the world, talking about being humbled by the fact that, like, you don't get it right the first time or the 10th time. You know, you have to be rehearsing for 4 months to get it right. I so appreciated that. I also appreciated seeing Beyoncé the taskmaster. So as they got closer to the actual performance date and Beyoncé is giving notes and she's like, well, what am I giving notes for? Y'all not doing it? There's no reason for me to give you more notes until you get what I already said right. Yes, Beyoncé. Exactly. And with Beyoncé, there are no breaks. She was doing that on her anniversary. And I think that that might have even been her 10-year anniversary in 2018. I don't think I've talked about the stepping yet. There were a couple of little vignettes where steppers come out. Beyoncé does some stepping, men do some stepping, the women do some stepping. That was great. Sign it, sign it, sign it, sign it, girl. Sign it, yeah. Usually when you go to a concert, and they have these little, you know, dance sections and whatever, and the little, the band, you know, plays, and you're like, oh my God, you know, you recognize that the performer they need to get water, they need to change their costume, but as a viewer, you're like, oh my God, when is this gonna be over? I've been to a few concerts where I was like, oh girl, just come back on out. But in this show, even the little interstitial parts were so great and captivating. And the girl who was waving the baton, it was, you know, it's like, I am as in awe of the amount of talent on the stage as Beyoncé appeared to be. Where do you find these people? A thing that's underscored in this documentary again and again is Beyoncé cares about details. She's not letting anything go. And a detail that she focused in on that was really, really effective was the stage sounds. So when I first saw Coachella, or the first few times, every time I've watched it, which is more than once, I've noticed that we hear the sounds on the risers. So we hear feet stomping, we hear clapping, we hear snaps, we hear the dancers and the musicians chanting and all of that. And I wondered, how did they do that, right? Because it's like, you wouldn't normally hear that stuff. And I was like, maybe they have microphones under there, but I guess Beyoncé was saying, like, record it and play it back. And let me just tell you, if that stuff is pre-recorded and it had to be played back on a track, that to me is amazing, because that's just another thing for her production crew to keep track of. The heys and the stomps and all of that. That, I don't know if that was really what happened, but that I loved being able to hear the organic noises of what it's like to, like, be stomping and clapping and all that. Loved it. What a wonderful detail that was. Beyoncé really takes a cue from the great performers like James Brown and Prince, in that the live versions of the song are so good. They're better than the recorded versions. And so all of the mashups, you know, I already talked about the songs that kind of make their way in, but even the mashups, like, I love the song Countdown, but the way that Broccoli comes in the middle of Countdown, ooh, girl. And then we get to my favorite performance, the performance that I've played over and over and over again, is the Deja Vu Greenlight performance. It sounded so good. It's so high, and those notes and those runs. But not only that, right? So not only is the singing on that Deja Vu Greenlight mashup great, the band, oh my God, it was so, the instrumentation of the horns and that freaking song are so good. There was only, you know, one kind of not great part of that performance, and his name rhymes with Bay P, but everything else was so good. And the Greenlight performance, the Greenlight is a wonderful song, by the way, shout out to B-Day, was so great and climactic with the confetti. That could have been itself a finale. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, is it done? Are we at the end? Because it could have been the end, But no, it wasn't the end because Beyonce is that freaking good. My next favorite part of the actual performances was the Destiny's Child part. Destiny's Child is so iconic. It made perfect sense to me that like when they panned to the audience and people were crying, I would have been crying. Destiny's Child, I guess, as like a black girl, and Janet Mock talks about this too in Redefining Realness, about how important Destiny's Child was to her in the late 90s, early 2000s. And like just seeing those black girls, and they were so glamorous, and they like mixed the pop sound with the R&B sound, and they were cool and they were beautiful. Freaking legends, legendary. And those harmonies, bring back harmonies. Do people do harmonies anymore? Are there groups? Do they harmonize? Who is harmonizing like Destiny's Child? Please tell me. Point them out. Those freaking harmonies were so great, okay? But then, Say My Name is already an iconic song. But the Say My Name remix? You better say my name. What was that, like the Rock Wilder remix of Say My Name? Who did that remix? I almost feel like it's like Rock Wilder or Missy Elliott. Woo! Woo! And then the remix. Okay, so we get, sorry, I'm really excited. So not only do we get harmonies, bring back a harmony. We got the three members of Destiny's Child together, already living, but then we get that choreography, that kind of stepping choreography. Oh, so good. And then Soldier was great. And they all had their little moments. And that was back when Michelle was dating Chad. So she, did the, because, her little ex-white boo Chad used to like to sea walk or whatever. Anyways, but it was just so good. It was so good. And I'm sure that they didn't do nearly as much rehearsal as Beyonce did, but it was just so good to see them together, and they have so much fun together, and they're just going back and forth and playing off of each other. That was the second best part of the entire thing for me. It was just so good. It was so great. And then of course we get Solange coming out, and Solange, giving me real little sister vibes, little sister to little sister. I see you. It's just fun. I like to see Beyonce really in her element, having fun. I think what we get from Beyonce is a sense that like, she really has sacrificed a lot. And I think a part of that is sacrificing time with her kids, time with her family, but also like time to develop relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the opportunity as people who who haven't been famous since we were 18 to move through the world and meet new people and make new friends and know that they are our friends just because they want to be our friends. You know what I'm saying? And Beyonce has not had the opportunity to do that. So it makes sense to me how serious she is about celebrating those friendships. It's just fun to see her. And then at the end of Get Me Bodied, which is an amazing song, by the way. Let me just say, before Coachella, my favorite Beyonce performance ever, this is all over the place, girl, but this is just me standing for Beyonce. Even though I'm not a Beyonce stan, this is me standing Beyonce's excellence. But before Coachella, my favorite Beyonce performance ever was the Beyonce Experience. And I used to play all the time that Get Me Bodied performance. The performance of Get Me Bodied is so good. And so to bring Solange out, and then at the end, the joy of them just falling over and just having fun, like, come on. Okay, so we're getting to the end of the actual performance part. Single Ladies is a song that I just do not think is good. And then we get to the end. The finale is Love on Top. Love on Top is a Black American classic, certified. I think Love on Top is Beyonce's Before I Let Go. It's Beyonce's Candy. Like, that is her Black American cookout staple. Because Black Americans of all ages love that freaking song. Ask a Black person over 55 what their favorite Beyonce song is. They're gonna say Love on Top. I guarantee 90% of the time they're gonna say Love on Top, because it's so classic. And who doesn't love a modulation? Come on, modulations, because those modulations give it that gospel familiarity. It brings the house down. I love that she closes with that. It was such a fun performance. Obviously, homecoming is a celebration of HBCUs, these specifically Black American institutions that have been vital as community support systems, as institutions of higher learning for Black people for hundreds of years. But what you can always appreciate about Beyoncé is the fact that she also has a very diasporic sensibility. There are so many different types of Black music that she incorporates into her shows. Homecoming was great. It's great to see spontaneous, off-the-cuff Beyoncé, just because we don't get to see it. You know, Beyoncé walls off her life. You know, she really compartmentalizes it, probably for her own mental health and well-being. And also, this woman has 3 kids. She has 3 kids. You know, it's really easy to forget because we don't see them all the time. But this is a mother of 3. She has stuff to do. So it's just great that we were allowed to be let in that way. And it underscores that everybody cannot do this. You know what I'm saying? I know that at the end of this, Beyoncé says, I want to be a light. I want to be an inspiration.
If my country ass can do it, they can do it.
That's a great message. And I am so glad that Beyoncé wants to encourage us to think bigger, to do better, to work harder. But let's not lose sight of the fact that this is a once-in-a-generation talent. This is a once-in-a-generation performer, you know, and it's not just about the pure talent. It's also about the talent and the willingness to put in that much work, to be that committed. To, you know, at one point she said, I'm hungry. Girl, I feel you. You know what I'm saying? To combine all of those elements into a single person. Now, you know. Now look, I want everybody to work hard, shoot for the moon, but you know, we probably just not gonna be Beyonce. We probably just are not, you know? And so, you know, aim to be the Beyonce of whatever it is that you want to do, but everybody can't. It just can't. It's just not possible. I also like that Beyoncé talked about how she has her hands in everything, so many pots. She's the project manager, but there's a whole lot of people working. It's a whole lot of people, right? So when I see people say, oh, you have the same number of hours as Beyoncé in a day. No, you don't. Did you see all those people? I think at one point she said she had to have a meeting with all the heads of the department, and that was 50 people. Okay, so we don't all have the ability to delegate, you know, like Beyoncé does, to break things up in a way that Beyoncé does. But what we do have the ability to do is to think big and to dream big and to have vision. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can have a vision, but like, let's not kid ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Beyoncé is able to execute at that level because she has lots and lots of help. And also because she can afford to get the best of the best. One thing that came into my mind was, how much is this costing? How much does it cost to pay musicians to rehearse for 8 months? How much does it cost to house the dancers and the musicians and the creative directors and all? This is an incredibly expensive and lengthy undertaking. You know, we all can't execute on that level, but we can aspire. You know what I'm saying? We can dream. And it was so just nice to see, you know, mom Beyoncé, you know, more relaxed, interacting with her kids. And let me just say, Tina Knowles' jeans, Black jeans are crazy. You never know what's going to happen, what's going to show up, in what generation. Beyoncé has a dark-skinned father, okay? She has a dark-skinned father. Her husband is brown-skinned. Maybe some people would call him dark-skinned. Those babies, that's why it's so important, if you're Black, don't be colorist, because you don't know what's going to come out in those kids. You do not know. Shout out to Tina Knowles. Shout out to Tina Knowles' jeans coming through in the double helix. Like, hey, what's up? Hello, how are you? I'm here. The second time I watched Homecoming from beginning to end, I got emotional because, like I already said, we're probably not going to see something like that again for a long time, if ever. If ever. I'm happy to be young enough to see it and old enough to appreciate it. It's just a really great time. So I'm happy to live in the time of Beyoncé. Even if I don't love every single song, I appreciate the work. Work matters. And Beyoncé proves that. Work still matters. Ambition still matters. Beyoncé is great, and she wants us to be great. And I am so moved by that. You know, I'm so moved by the work that was put into this incredible performance, this piece of art, but that she intentionally injected all of these messages about working hard, persevering, not giving up, do more, you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Like, I love that, you know? And I ended this feeling moved and, you know, crying, teary, and inspired and motivated to do and be more. And, you know, there's a certain kind of motivation that you can only get from seeing people be excellent, from seeing people operating at the highest level. And that's what I get when I watch this. Well, that's all I have to say about that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Up on Patreon, I did not record a new video. What I did was create a syllabus that outlines everything that I read, all of the articles, all of the books that I read, all of the videos that I watched, the podcasts that I've listened to make all of the videos that I've published so far this year. And it's like 3 pages of just resources. You know, people always want to know, what are you reading? What do you listen to? And so I outlined that. So that syllabus is over on Patreon. Right now, obviously, it's patrons only. Thank you guys so much for your support. This shirt is available. So grab some merch, sign up for the email newsletter, send me an email or a DM, leave a comment. That's all I got, guys. Thank you. I will see you next time. Shout out to Beyoncé. Queen B. King B. Bye.